Hello everyone, Carla here from Documenting the Journey. I am here today to do a product review on the NightOwl by Owl Paper. This is a 6-month B6 sized planner that is new to me. I've already started kind of going in. I'm actually filming this after I filmed like my entire video because I realized I did not film this part correctly. But anyways, so this was graciously sent to me by Marissa, who is the founder and owner of this company. I am going to do a quick walkthrough and tell you my opinions on this planner. And I am also going to be linking some stuff down below. I'm not affiliated. I'm not going to get any kickback if you guys do pre-orders or anything like that. But I do want to reference 2 videos of people that I've already watched do a review of this planner. One of them is MenWhoBullet, and I will make sure to link his video down below. I love what he did with his cover because this is a pink cover. It's not very gender neutral. And so I loved the creativity that he had with what he did with his cover. So definitely watch his review and walkthrough. I'm also linking another video that is from just Scribble. She did an extremely detailed video on the specs. She compared it to the common planner, the half-year version. She did all of the dimensions. She did the page counts. Like, everything was extremely thorough in her video, and I absolutely loved watching it. So I'm going to link her video down below as well. Now, this is the 2023. This is the last 6 months of the year. Marissa just opened pre-orders for 2024, so I'll put that information down below as well. She does have 2 color covers. I think that it's like I don't remember I actually don't remember. I'm not even going to say it because I'm just going to botch it. But when you do the order, you will get, it does come in a set of 2. There is no full year option. It's only 2 half years. And there are 2 different color covers, but I'll go ahead and add all of that stuff down below as well. Okay, so this is a B6 size half year. The planner is only going to cover 6 months. Now this is for the last 6 months of this year. She also just opened up pre-orders for the next year, 2024. And when you order those, it does come in a bundle of 2. This is a kind of poly cover. It is a very bright pink with some gold foiling. It has the date ranges down here, and it also has, for archiving purposes and shelving, it has the date ranges and gold foiling on the spine as well. Now, I always test first thing anytime I get a notebook or a planner if it's lay flat, because for me, that's like a big thing. It's honestly, it's a deal breaker for me for almost all items. And this one does have a beautiful sewn binding that is a lay flat binding as well. And so I already know that for me that's going to be just like a big plus in whether I would actually use this product or not. And so when you walk in, again, I'm not going to go over like the actual like millimeters, centimeters, inches, dimensions. I'm going to let you refer to just Scribbles, but it is a traditional B6 sized. This is a pink cover. The pre-orders for 2024 does have 2 different color options. I'm not like super familiar with the pre-orders. I am not pre-ordering anything this year. Struggling with that, by the way. And so I don't know if you just get what you get. You get 1 cover of each, or if you can choose 2 of the same covers. I think you just get what you get. I think you get the first color and then you get something similar to this, or an orange, I can't remember. Just Scribbles also goes over all of that. And so I will just kind of get into my opinions of this planner. B6 size is currently my favorite size. I used to be an A5 person. Like, everything I used was always A5. And like, even, you know, my Odyssey notebook that I have is an A5. A lot of the other planners that I have is an A5, but B6 for me is just kind of my sweet spot right now. So I love the fact that I found another B6 planner. So when you turn over your first page, you just have this cute little owl coffee cup logo, and it does say the NightOwl journal belongs to, and you can put your name here. And then this is more of a cream color, and this is more of a white color for the paper. And so your inside cover is like a thicker cardstock type paper whereas your cover itself is a very bendable, very flexible, but seems like super sturdy, like almost like a PU plasticky type cover. And it doesn't really have a ton of texture on it, which I actually really appreciate. It's a really smooth cover, and you can see the sewn binding and the strong binding. It's very similar to the common planner that I'm already using, or the notebooks, in addition to like a Stalogy. It's a really good binding. Okay, I got sidetracked. So when you turn this page, you do have this, you know, I feel like a lot of notebooks have this where it's kind of like glued to the cover page basically. And so you also have another logo here, and it says "For Dreamers Who Do," and it does say copyright 2023 Marissa Porter, the owner of the company. Another thing I really appreciate about this planner is every single page is numbered starting at the very, very first page, which I actually really like. I know it's probably not a lot of things that people think about, but when you do put in an index, if you have any information on page 1, like your bullet journal key, or you know, any huge memories or things that you're wanting to track throughout the year, you can easily index that page as well. Now, it does have a light gray 4mm grid. Another thing that I really appreciate about this journal is the grid is bordered off throughout the entire notebook and planner. And what I mean by that is you have borders on the edge of the page. And so every single grid count on the entire notebook is going to be the exact same horizontally and vertically. I've had a lot of notebooks over the years where they have the grid from spine to edge of page, and the grid count is different like the farther you get into the book, and that really like is a big deal breaker for me. It bothers me. So I think it's a 4mm grid or a 3.7mm grid. I can't remember, and I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to do this because this is like a very reflective ruler. It looks maybe 3.7, 3.8, but definitely close to a 4mm. And grid size is very similar to the notebook that I'm already using from Sterling Ink. Now on here, you do have very lightly typed up here the word index. I appreciate that it's really light because people might not want to use this for an index. They might want to use it for something completely different, whether it's a vision board or anything like that. So that can be easily, you know, taken care of with decorative tape or pen, or just leaving it blank and it's easy to ignore. Now the next 2-page spread you have is, again, very simple, open spread. It just says goal setting, and the text and the color is, I feel like, a little bit different. I don't know, maybe it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. I feel like the word goal setting is just a touch darker than index, but I don't know, maybe it's just my lighting. But this is really great too, because I personally, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I put in all of my goal planning from Moxie Life into my notebook. And so I like this, that is already in there, and I don't have to worry about dedicating 2 additional pages for that. And so this is page 4 and page 5 for goal setting. And then here is your, essentially your future log. This is Q3 and Q4, and it does have spaces for 3 months. So July, August, September, October, November, December. You can use it for anything that you want. It does say Q3 and Q4 with the months and the year. You can use it for goals. You can use it for habit tracking. You can use it for accomplishments. You can use it for memory keeping and put a bunch of stickers there every time you do something really fun during that month. I mean, this is endless possibilities that you can use this for. And then when you turn the page, you go straight into the month, which honestly I really appreciate, because a lot of planners now have the month before the planner starts and then the month after the planner ends. I personally have never understood that because I don't use my planners that way. Like once I'm in my planner, I'm in my planner. I don't want a month without the weeks and without the days. Like I just feel like for me that's not very functional. So I love that the planner starts when it starts, I guess. So you have all of your months in the front and then all of your weeks and then all of your blank pages, and I'll go into that. But One thing that is a little bit different about this is instead of having your dates on the top, you actually have your dates on the bottom of the boxes, which I think is really unique. It does, for me, I think it will actually help because I do use the top bar quite often on like paydays or days off. Let me see if I can find an example of how I use mine. And so a lot of times I will do out of towns on the top bar when we're traveling. I'll do, you know, time blocking on the top bar. My monthly view is my most widely used view. And so again, this is a big deal breaker for me on if I can't functionally use the monthly view, I know that I'm not going to functionally be able to use the planner. And I love this monthly view because the boxes are huge. They do have a little bit of a smaller box here because it's just that really weird one with the 6 weeks. And there's a ton of space on the bottom as well. And there's zero color, no color at all, blacks, grays, and that's it. And I love that. So that way I can choose to decorate if I want to, or I could not decorate at all if I didn't want to. And it does have a Monday start, which for me, I'm really big on. Now, the only thing that I did notice on these monthly views is with the way everything is drawn out. I love the size of the boxes. So let's see if we can count real quick. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grids in height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 grids in width. Let me see, just out of curiosity, what I did in mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did a 7x7, so it's a really good size comparison to what I'm already using anyways. But what I was saying is the one thing that I did notice with the way this is drawn out, and I haven't looked at the other months yet, is your first day is here on Saturday, but you still have the lines and the blocks for these days up here where it's not in the month, but you don't have the date numbers. So for me personally, that's going to be great because I often get confused. But down here, you also don't have the fully drawn out area. So I think aesthetically wise, it would be more appealing for me personally if these lines were not defined as the box and it was just a blank space up here. Now I understand why it was probably like that, just because it's more uniform down the columns. But I personally would rather have like blank space up here without these lines, mainly just because the reason I bullet journal is because I don't really like being told what to do. I don't like being kind of like forced into using something a specific way. If these lines were not here, I could easily use this as tracking my goals or even just writing my goals. I could use it as, you know, just writing down addresses of events and stuff that I have to be to. And like the bottom bar, I use my monthly view a lot. So like the monthly view for me is the meat and potatoes of the planner. So again, let me just compare to mine. So, because I don't know if I explained that well enough. So in my monthly view, again, this is a bullet journal. This is not pre-drawn out. This is just what I did myself. So you can see how I left this area blank, whereas these boxes are still there, but there is no days. And so like you can decorate it if you want, you can track stuff up there if you want, but like you can see how much I use my outside area of my bullet journal. And so like for me, the monthly view is huge. But again, it's just like such a tiny little thing that I'm sure not many people are going to really care too much about it. Again, I understand aesthetically why it's there because it just makes them more universal columns. But I feel like if they're not going to be here, then for me personally, I would rather them not be up here either. But again, there's such light lines, it's something you could easily ignore. And so again, you have all of your stuff numbered here. Now, after your months, you do have a 2-page blank spread, which I really like. I do wish, however, that I would get that before July. Because what I would personally do is when I'm going to use this journal, because I am going to dive into it, I'm going to use it for the rest of the year, hopefully, is I'm going to use this spread for my monthly goals before the month. And so I can use this spread to set up my goals for the month of August. However, I'm not going to have a 2-page blank spread before July. And so you could also use it, instead of using it for your goals before the month, you could use it for pre-planning for the month. You can use it for additional notes. You can even do like after the month for July, you can do on this side, you can do your gratitude, you can do your accomplishment log, you can do, it's just, you can do a lot of things for it being after the month. I just wish that there was one more before July, because I personally will utilize it as monthly goals. And I always put my monthly goals, because I basically grew up in the Moxie life system. I put my monthly goals before my month calendar. And so since it is after the month, you can definitely use it for a lot of different things. You can do a monthly review, you can do a monthly recap, you could do monthly memories. You can even do, like, if you have tiny kids or, you know, you have other things to track, you can use it for trackers. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this blank spread. And I do love having the blank pages in front of, or behind, in between, I guess, the months. I honestly wish that I would have done that in my bullet journal. So I'm doing all my goals in the back instead, because I just didn't think about the setup for mine. So again, you go straight into August, and then calendars are also a Monday start. I personally like Monday starts because I like having my weekends together. Again, the biggest reason I like having my weekends together is usually I only work Monday through Friday, and all of our kid sport events are on Saturdays and Sundays. And so I like being able to see easy when my husband says, oh, what do we have this weekend? I can just look at these two blocks instead of one over here and one over there. And so you have August, another blank spread, September, another blank, October, another blank, November, and then December. So after December, you do have another blank. And so it does look like the blank pages are intended to be after the month. And so I think that it would be great if it was before the month, but like just adding 2 additional pages. But I can definitely work with it either way. Like it's not going to be a deal breaker. It's not going to make me not want to use this planner. Okay, so after this, you go straight into your weeks. So you have all your months, all your weeks, and then you have all of your blank pages, which are undated dailies, which I love. So again, you have a Monday start. You do have the dates, a little bit more of a bold text than your rest of your stuff. So you have your days of the week up there. It is a light gray shadowed box. Personally, for me, that does not bother me. If you are a big person that uses sticker kits, especially like vellum or what are those transparent stickers, this might be an issue if it's a dark gray or even a medium gray, because I don't know how vellum stickers would look over that. And then you do have the colored tabs on this side. I'm not the biggest fan of color. I do like that these are all like earth tone colors. Like I personally would rather it just be the color of this gray. I do like that the actual tab marks are there though, because I love tabs. Like I tab everything in my planner. I've got month tabs everywhere. I've got washi tabs. I've got like, I love tabs, y'all. And so this is just a really easy marker for you to know exactly where to put tabs. I have some Aura Estelle transparent tabs that you could put on there. I have some Handy Forms tabs I could use. Like I have a lot of tabs. I like tabs. So I do appreciate that you have the mark there so you can know exactly where to put your tab. There are no marks, however, on the months. And so I personally would like to have my months here. So you see how you can see all of the weekly tabs. I would like to see this height in the months, and then your weeks could start here and go down. Personally, that's what I would do. If I were to tab my planner, that's how I tab mine right now. But I still do appreciate that there are tabs there, especially if you do like that minimal no tab type of look. I think I like tabs, y'all. I just got on a rant about tabs. Okay, so I would prefer if these were just all gray, but again, this is not my company, this is not my planner. It's just my preferences and my opinions. I am never a fan of these calendars. That is one of the reasons that I did go to a bullet journal, is because functionally for me, I never use these. I know a lot of people do, because I know a lot of people like to see the week that they're in. They like to count the weeks. They like to pre-plan, and like if they functionally use this week and this is their main view and they need to schedule something later in the month, they can easily see what day of the week it is. I understand why they're there. I personally don't love them. I have always covered them up in every planner that I've owned that has those, and it's a pain. So here I do like also that the font is just really simple, clean, easy to read. Your timeline, you have one space above your 5 a.m. and then it goes, well, I guess it doesn't say a.m. It goes from 5 to 9. I do like that it is not a military time. I like that it is a 12-hour time, because for those people that do work different types of shifts, it will be easy for them to use this planner without it being a military time or a 24-hour timeline. And so if they go in at 8 p.m., they can block off 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., and then they can do all of their tasks and everything that they need down here when they get home, and then, of course, sleeping time. So I actually appreciate that. It's also less math for my brain. And so I also really love this weekly spread because there is a ton of space down here at the bottom. Now this does kind of remind me a little bit of the Hemlock and Oak, where they have just a lot of space down at the bottom. I do wish, however, that these lines were not here. Now I understand the appeal of people wanting to ignore the time and just use a block for the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. Unfortunately, that's not how my brain works. And so having these lines here, just like having the lines here in the monthly spread, for me, coming from a true bullet journal, it kind of just makes me feel blocked in. However, I can do all of my big bullet journaling back here. So this is another one of the things that I did not like about Passion Planner, where Passion Planner had their 12 o'clock, like all across the entire week, was this color gray, just across the whole week. The whole 12 o'clock hour for every single day was highlighted. I always thought that was a little odd too. I guess not odd. I shouldn't say odd. Unique. Okay, so that is my biggest opinions. Is I'm not a big fan of the calendar. I never use it. I feel like it's, for me, with the amount of space that I use, I feel like for me it's just a little bit of a wasted space. I would rather just have grid all the way up to here. And then I don't love these lines here. I like the shading of the days of the week. I love Monday starts, and I like the timeline. I very rarely do things past 9 o'clock because usually I'm in bed at 9 o'clock because I have 2 kids. And so I am tired often. And so it just goes through week to week. So you have all of your weeks back to back. And then you also, each time you go into a different month, your color of the tab changes. And so once you get done with the last week, oh, I love that the year ends on the 31st. How fun is that going to be? The 2024 planners are going to start on the 1st. That's exciting. So after this, you just go into blank grid pages. I personally have not done the math, but from Just Scribble's YouTube video, she did say, and I think that Marissa has mentioned it too, that there is enough pages in here to where you can use a full day per page the entire 6 months and still have pages left over for collections and archiving, which I love. Because if you have followed me for any length of time, you know that that's exactly how I set up my bullet journal, where I've got all of my goals, my collections, my archiving, and my lists in the very back. When we go to the very back, again, all of these numbers or pages are numbered. And then you have, again, just like this thick cardstock page with the owl, NightOwl logo on the back. And then your back cover is just a nice plain. There's no gold foiling or anything on it. Now, the one thing that I didn't know if I had is I would have loved. Okay, so this is a Lauren Phelps Designs plastic cover that I actually purchased for my bullet journal, but that is 520 pages and it did not fit. So I'm just really curious as to whether this is gonna fit. So I'm going to try it, and I don't know. Here, it's like this. I was like, I don't know which way it goes. Okay. Because I think that it would be super, super cute to have all of these beautiful little flowers. I don't love pink. Pink is probably my least favorite color. And so anything that I can do to kind of hide like the color of this is excellent. Because another thing that I can do, because y'all, this is like the best fit ever. I do not know if this cover would fit a full year if Marissa ever made a full year, but y'all, this is like the greatest fit for the half year B6. This is awesome. I did not know that that was actually gonna fit. Oh, that makes me super duper excited. Okay, so now that I know that this fits, another thing that I can do is I can just take a piece of printer paper and I can cut it out the size of like the cover laying down this way, and I can tuck it in the back cover, and then I can just decorate the printer paper. Holy cow, you guys, I'm so excited right now about like the possibilities for all of this. And I'm looking to see, I don't have printer paper, but I've got this. Okay, let's see if this works. It's the little things, y'all, that make me so stinking excited. Okay, I think this is actually the paper that came inside of this cover. Maybe not, I don't know. Maybe I cut it with the intention of using it, but I couldn't use it for my sterling ink because, y'all, that thing is chunky. Now the downside with this is it's going to be white. Maybe I'll have to use a different color. It is going to be white flowers on white paper, but at least I wouldn't see the pink. I did that blindly. I did not measure it. I have no idea if that is the amount that I needed to cut off. But this gives people a really good idea of things that they could use if they don't love pink. I know I follow a lot of accounts that don't love pink, and I also follow a lot of accounts that prefer more gender neutral covers, whether they identify as male or they just identify as no gender and just don't want to have something that they feel is feminine. And so this is an excellent idea for those people that don't love the color. Again, Mark with MenWhoBullet did a phenomenal thing with his cover. It was like super freaking cool. Okay, so, okay, I need to work on that because that page is still just a bit too long, but there you go. You can still see it on the edges. But again, that was like my, I don't know, what did that take, 2 minutes fix? So I can definitely work on it a little bit more, but this is another idea for you to be able to change your color cover. Again, this is the Lauren Phelps Designs cover, the plastic one. So, okay, here's what I'm gonna do, y'all. I'm wrestling in my brain a wee bit about the rest of my year because I have this beautiful bullet journal that I spent an astronomical amount of time drawing out my layouts, putting in all of my information, setting up all of my collections, setting up all of my goals. But it is almost 2 inches thick, and y'all, this is super hard to carry around right now. So I am playing with the idea of just completely switching over full time to this planner. And this is probably going to be too big of a cover because Maria made it for my super duper chunky beast. So I'm actually not even going to try and put it in that cover because I know it's going to be too baggy in here. But this is what I'm wrestling with, you guys. I don't love half-year planners because when I put something on the shelf, I want it to be one book for a whole year. And I can do that easily with this. But I also really love the idea of starting fresh for the last 6 months and just using something different. So the idea that I've come up with is to use this functionally and to just add in all of my memory keeping into this. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll update everybody. But I am absolutely going to move into this for July because I want to see how the paper holds up. I want to work with the layouts. I want to kind of work with the daily pages and bullet journal, the things that I need. I also love, part of the reason this is so chunky is because when I set it up originally for the year, I did my months and my weeks, and then I did the last half for my archiving, and I saved too many pages for my archiving. This, when I calculated everything, I could have gotten 8 pages per week, plus 24 pages for all of the months, plus leftovers for my archiving and collections. But when I decided to do it, I didn't know if I would want to dedicate a page per day for the entire year. So I just did like half of it basically. And I really like having a day per page. So now I'm torn on what to do. I honestly did not think that I would ever consider this year switching planners mid-year, because I have been so happy in this, because it is literally everything that I've created and it is an entire year. But now I really want to switch planners. So I'm going to give this a good try. I'm going to put all of my July events in here. I'm going to start documenting all of my weeks in here. I'm going to start documenting all of my time blocking, and I am going to use a day per page in here and see what happens. This is going to be skinny enough to where if I have to shelve it, I can just rubber band the two and just write 2024 on both of them. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but we'll see. I don't know. So yes, those are my opinions. Overall, I love everything about it. I love that there's enough note pages that are undated in here where if you wanted to do a day per page, you could, and you could still have several. I didn't do the math. I think it was like 30 or 40 pages left over for archiving and notes and collections. And so I love that. And I love the simplicity of the layout. I love the font. I love the color. The grid is a lot darker in here than it is in the Sterling ink. I really struggle with light grids because I do a lot of memory keeping and journaling in my bullet journal on the couch at night, and I can't do that with this one because it is so light of a grid. And I'm also very type A, and I like to be able to stay on the line and in the boxes. But it's just me. So, okay. That is my very long-winded review of the NightOwl by Owl Paper Planner. And I'm really excited, honestly. Like, I'm super excited. I think I'm just going to go sit on my couch right now and just start transferring all of my information. I am not, by the way, going to do a pen test. It is Tomoe River paper. I've used this paper for probably about 3 years. The pens that I usually use are the Microns. I use the O2 and the Uni Jetstreams. I do have some fountain pens that I use, but I only use that in my Tomoe River journal. So I only use my fountain pens in my journal, so I don't have to worry about fountain pens smearing on my planner. But so I'm not going to do a pen test because these are the only 2 pens that I really use in this planner anyway. But if you have any questions, definitely comment down. Let me know. Let me know what your favorite feature is about this planner. I will make sure to link both of those videos in addition to the website for this particular planner. Again, pre-orders are open right now. And I appreciate you, Marissa, so much for sending this to me. I am super duper excited to try this out. And I hope that all of you guys have a fabulous day. Thanks a lot.